So we have a true fact for you guys. Meat is a great source of protein for your dogs. And true always starts with meat. It also match my shirt. A lie? Dogs need exercise too. Did you know that? Yes. Dr. Patrick Craig tells us why regular exercise is essential in our True Tip of the Week. It's now time for your True Tip of the Week, brought to you by True Pet Food.
Now, for a dog, exercise is very, very important, and for many reasons. One, it keeps them occupied. Two, when dogs exercise, they're healthier. It keeps them healthier. You don't want your dog to just sit at home and eat and just put on weight and get fat. It's added problems. The same thing that happened to human beings when we don't exercise and we just eat and we put on more weight. We have non-communicable diseases. We have the heart problems, hypertensive problems, diabetes problems. Guess what? Our dogs have these very same problems. Same diseases, same problems, same treatment. They come to the clinics, the hospitals, and they have the very same problems. Obesity is a problem, so we want to ensure that our dogs are happy. We want to make sure that they're not bored, so we have to take them out for a run sometimes. If we just leave them in the house, they have to relieve themselves. Dogs are trained not to relieve themselves in the house. They might keep the feces in, they might keep the urine in, and guess what? They get the same bladder infections. All the problems that we have as human beings, your dogs are going to have the same problems too. So you want to make sure that they have regular exercises. No, you just don't want to take up your dog and run out there and do exercises. You want to make sure that, and what we always recommend to our clients is, especially when you have those big dogs, you want to take them in, at least when they get to a few months, just to check where their growth plate is. The growth plate is that point in the joint where, the long bones are growing longer. If before you have that closure of the growth plate, if you're going to have them out there running up and down, you could get cracks and damages, and then you have problems in the joints, and for the rest of the life of the dog, you are going to have problems. So usually we have those animals coming in, we do a little gentle x-ray, we look at the growth plate. If it's closed, then you can give the go-ahead for those dogs to do strenuous exercises. Puppies, they're full of energy. You want to give them that fast burst of exercise where they can let out that, but you don't want to have a very long period because it's not really good for them. They get tired very quickly. A tired dog is a happy dog. Medium breeds, they can have a more extended period of exercise. They want to do the fetch, running, swimming, running around the park. They want to do it a few times a day. That's good. If you have the big breed dogs, giant breed dogs like your those very big ones. You really want to have very shorter periods. Those dogs are very heavy, it's very difficult on their joints. You really don't want to have a very long extended period. And the same for older dogs. You really don't want to have a dog, for example, with a heartworm condition and then taking them out to have exercises, because the dog could just suffer a heart attack and die right there, during the exercise. So you want to make sure that the dog is healthy.
How often should the dog be on an exercise regimen?
Well, for example, if you have a small dog, they want to do it very often. They want to do it, a few times a day. A medium-sized dog, you may want to take the dog out maybe a once or twice a day. If you have big dogs, older dogs, a once-a-day regime. Maybe a walk around the park, maybe taking the dog out in the evening, walk down the road and back. That might be all that they need. But too much is not a good idea, and too little is also not a good idea. You want to make sure that you exercise the dog either before eating or maybe a few hours after, because you have those breeds, for example, when they eat a meal right now and then you take them out to do strenuous exercises, you have all sorts of medical conditions like those deep-chested dogs can have. There's a condition that we call gastric dilation and volvulus that can happen, which can be life-threatening to the dog. So you really don't want to do it right after they eat. So it's preferable if you do it before they have a meal or a few hours after. And you also want to do it in the morning when the sun is not up, because dogs are very susceptible to heat stroke and heat stress. And so you want to do it when the time is cool, and that would be either early morning or in the late afternoon.
The True Tip of the Week was brought to you by True Pet Food.